Good evening. It is Thursday. Whoop whoop. How's your Thursday been, everyone? I hope you've had a fabulous day, even though the weather seems to be a little bit testing, doesn't it? So I don't know about you, but I've been into London today, driving through London, and I've been in sunshine, I've been in thunderstorms, I've been in torrential rain. I don't think it knows what it's doing. All I hope is that it starts clearing up for next week, because I am off to Glastonbury. Yay! Anybody else out there going to Glastonbury? I'm very excited. I went last year and very excited to go again. But that's not what I want to talk to you about this evening. I want to talk to you and share some ideas with you around the concept of presenting and public speaking, because I'm going to make a big assumption here, but I'm guessing for the majority of you, you have to present in one way or another within your business world. Am I right? I presume I am. I'm making a big assumption. If I'm not, I'm sorry. But for a lot of people out there, public speaking is something that you have to do in one way or another, be it in one-to-one situation, in a meeting of a few people, it's rather informal, on a more formal level, in a big auditorium. Presenting and public speaking can be described as all sorts of different things for all sorts of different people. So what I want to do in the next kind of 20 minutes or so is just share with you some of my, what I would call my top tips that are really simple and above all really easy to implement and really easy to start doing straight away when you start to approach your preparation when it comes to presenting. So why am I talking to you about this? Why am I sharing these ideas with you? Well, let me just tell you very, very briefly a little bit about me and how I got to here. So I trained as an actor many years ago, and I was lucky enough to work as an actor both in TV, film and theatre in the UK and in Australia. And then I did a bit of a sidestep and I retrained, and I trained as a speech and drama coach, because I've always been fascinated by the speaking voice. And I decided to study more. And that then took me on another journey. So I work as a voiceover artist, but I also work now as a voice coach, much more within the corporate arena nowadays. And my passion lies in working with individuals and guiding them on their journeys, but to become even more effective when it comes to delivering their messages in whatever realm that might be. And delivering their messages with more impact, more gravitas, more authenticity, and probably above all things, more confidence. I think that's where people tend to fall down, is with a belief and a confidence when it comes to public speaking. And I use my skills as a voice coach and also as an NLP master coach. So I use all of my skills in order to help and guide people on their journeys. And I love what I do. I'm incredibly blessed to be in a position where I can say 100% I love what I do, because I work with individuals from all walks of life, from senior management right down to the dad who's needing to do the wedding speech at their son or daughter's wedding. So that's a bit about me. So what do I want to share with you? Well, considering public speaking would rate as probably one of the top 5 phobias that people have, and actually it comes second after death, would you believe, according to some research, then I think there's a big space for people to learn a bit more about it. So that's why I'm doing this for free. I'm giving you some words of wisdom, some of my top tips for free that I feel will really, really help you when you come to do your next presentation. So let's start. The first thing to talk about is preparation. Preparation. Sounds pretty obvious, doesn't it, that you prepare for your presentations? But when I talk about preparation, I'm not just talking about the words on a page, because I'm guessing a lot of you would spend hours, maybe days, really thinking about what words you're going to use when you're presenting. And that's great. That's really, really important. But do you actually think about how those words translate from the paper to delivery? Do you stand in front of a mirror and deliver them? Do you record yourself speaking those words? Because it's very different, isn't it? The words that you type, the words that you write, to the words that you speak. And in order to be the most authentic and potentially spontaneous, and that's a word that I know a lot of people struggle with when it comes to presenting, then there needs to be a real connection for you in your preparation when it comes to the written word to the spoken word. Also, do you know how many words you speak within a minute? The number of times I've been to networking events where you have to stand up and do your 1 minute pitch. And I'm sure a number of you out there are at this moment going, oh my God, that's the worst thing in the world. I can't bear doing that. It's one of the reasons why I don't go networking. It's one of the reasons why I hate being in those situations, because I have to stand up and talk for a minute. Well, again, let's think about the preparation for that. So I'm sure you might stand up and rehearse that 1 minute, but how many words are you putting down on a page? A minute of spoken words at a really good pace and thinking about your pause should be anywhere between about 110 and 130 words on a page. Just have a look at one of your probably many Word documents that you have on your laptop. Have a look at a page, highlight an area, probably about that much in normal font, on a Word document, and it would be about that much. Maybe 3 short paragraphs would make up about 110 to 130, 140 words. That's very little. So you've really got to think about what is your key message. There needs to be absolute clarity in the message you're going to deliver. So think about the number of words in that preparation. Also, there's 2 main other things you need to think about. This, your inner dialogue in your preparation. What are you telling yourself when you sit down to think about the presentation that you've got to do? Are you telling yourself that, yes, I can do this, yes, I want to be doing this, yes, all of those positive things? Or are you in that mindset of, oh God, I'm dreading doing this, I don't want to do this, I sit down and it's like an energy draining process? Well, we already know that our thoughts become our reality. So think about that as part of your preparation. As part of your preparation, get into this. What's going on with your inner dialogue? Now, Wendy has said very true. Which part? All of it, of course. Everything I'm giving you. I think you're probably talking about preparation and the number of words on a page, maybe, and thinking about the content. Maybe not. Maybe you're thinking about something else. Who knows? Share. So think about what's going on with your inner dialogue. And then the other thing to really, really focus on, yes, fabulous, is body language. The non-verbal. What are you delivering on a non-verbal level? We are so focused on the words that often we forget to rehearse and practice and prepare. What are we going to do with these? Often people go, oh God, where do I put my hands? What do I do? How do I gesture? And then what are you preparing? You're preparing somebody who comes across as looking and potentially feeling very awkward. And that will leak. Those non-verbal cues, that non-verbal communication you cannot get away from. It's called leakage. You will leak what you are feeling. So think really carefully about how you prepare what you're doing with your hands. Think about your gesture. Think about how you are going to stand, your posture. It's imperative that you know that when you're in a really solid, grounded position, that what you are giving off to your audience is exactly that you are a solid, grounded and confident presenter. So think about your posture, ground yourself, take your hands out of your pockets, raise them to what we call a resting hand position. We don't want them in the pockets. We don't want them hidden behind your back. We want to see you. You need to have open body language and you need to be still. Something that's incredibly difficult when the adrenaline's pumping, when your energy's flowing. Ground yourself. So again, use your mirror. Look at what you're doing. Look at how you're standing. Because we do so much on an unconscious level that we're totally unaware of those things that we do because we do them without thinking. So film yourself. Get somebody to watch what you're doing. Get the feedback. I tell you who's great at this, your partner or your kids, because they'll be really honest, and kids even more so. Use that mirror. Look at how you are presenting yourself, what your posture is like. And remember these, your shoulders. Often when we're nervous and we're tense, the shoulders rise. Just think about rolling those shoulders back. And I had a Pilates teacher who said to me, just think about tucking your shoulders into your back pockets. And that's really helped me when I stand up. Yeah, you're right, Wendy. Absolutely vital when you're teaching students about interview technique. It's about first impressions, isn't it? That moment that they walk through the door, the moment that they put their hand out, eye contact, the animation on the face, the tone of voice. These are all non-verbal cues for the person that's looking at them. And we make a first impression and we judge someone within split seconds of meeting them. So it's absolutely vital, as Wendy, you're saying, that you have all of this in your toolkit as part of your preparation. You know, we know people who can stand up and deliver, and they say, oh, I don't need to prepare, it's off the hoof and all the rest of it. But actually, that's a great skill to have. But actually, just imagine how much more effective and more impact and more gravitas and more power you could have if you actually took the time to prepare, properly prepare on all elements. So the words, the voice and the body language. Okay, here endeth the sermon on the preparation. You get what I'm saying though, I hope. And then let's think about the voice. Let's think about the voice. Do you know what? The number of people I work with, I say to them, do you do a warm-up? Do you warm your voice up before you're about to go and do a presentation? And often they look at me blankly. And you might be doing the same thing right now, going, Julia, what do you mean warm up your voice? Well, you wouldn't run a marathon, or even half a marathon, or even a 5K run without potentially stretching out your muscles. And it's the same with this. It's the same with this. There is so much you can do with regards to warming your voice up. Have you ever noticed how much warmer, how much more resonance, how much more tone and variety and modulation your voice has towards the end of the day or in the afternoon when you've had time to warm it up naturally? So imagine if you just took 5-10 minutes out in the morning to warm up your voice, to hum, to get those resonators going, to really think about how you're using your speech organs so that when it comes to presenting, you're not tripping over your words, that you're clear, there's clarity, there's diction, there's all of those things that you need to be a really engaging presenter. So vocal warm-up. I'm not going to give you everything when it comes to vocal warm-up. If you want more information, you know where to find me. But think about your vocal warm-up, because one of the key elements when it comes to presenting is your pace. Often when somebody's nervous and that adrenaline is pumping, you will speed up. And as soon as you start speeding up, you lose your ability to breathe, and you are more likely to trip over your words. Slow down. And again, this comes into the preparation. And a good thing to think about is if you're speaking at a pace that feels too slow, You're absolutely spot on. You're absolutely spot on. Because we naturally speak quicker when we are energized, when we are excited, when the adrenaline is pumping, and when we are nervous. And potentially, one of those emotional states will ring true with you when you stand up and present. Even if you love doing it, the adrenaline is pumping. If you don't like it so much, the adrenaline is definitely pumping. So really think about the pace of your presentation. Then there is the pause. The pause. This, my friends, is your best friend. The pause. The power of the pause. And actually, it's one of the hardest things to do. And it's a real skill. It's a real skill to use a pause for effect, for emphasis. Well, it's magical. And you will see some of the most incredible and well-taught presenters use pause without fail. Fan of the old pregnant pause? Absolutely, Wendy. Well, you'll know, doing what you do, that the pause, it really is incredibly powerful. You've heard the term silence is golden. But for a lot of people, that's really scary. And what feels like a lifetime to you is actually only a couple of beats, a couple of seconds. So think about where you want to put your pause in your presentations, because they can be used just before or just after something that you say that you want to emphasize. Do you like what I did there? So use a pause for emphasis. Use a pause to break state with an audience. Because the moment you're silent, people will look up and wonder why you stopped talking. You will be able to re-engage with your audience using a really clever pause. So just think about where you're going to put your pauses in your presentation. And also, if you are having to do a presentation to time and you're really, really tight with time, build in your pauses in that time. Does that make sense? So within your preparation time, think about exactly where you are going to place your pauses in order to build that into your overall presentation time. Okay, and the final thing I'm going to talk about is power. Power. Power can relate to all sorts of things. Power can be vocal power, so your projection and the power behind your voice. You might, when I say about people with powerful voices, you might get a visual of somebody that you think has an incredibly powerful voice. Morgan Freeman, for example, has an incredibly resonant voice. What an incredibly powerful voice he has too. And it's not just about the volume of his voice, it's about the way he uses it. There's all sorts of people I could use as examples. But just think about the power behind your voice, the power behind the message, and above all, and my favourite, the power within, the power that sits within you. It's about a belief. It's about a belief, a self-belief in your ability to present, in your ability to be powerful, to have impact, to deliver a message and allow it to land and sit with an audience. So just think about where your power is coming from. Where does your power sit? How powerful are you right now? And how powerful would you like to be when it comes to presenting? It's an interesting one to think about, isn't it? Just that concept of power. So there we go. I've shared with you a few of my top tips when it comes to presenting. I hope they've been useful. I also wanted to tell you about a 2-day Presenting with Impact workshop that I'm going to be running. So if this has been helpful and it's stirred your intrigue and you're thinking that actually there's loads more that you would like to do, well, you're welcome, you would like to do, and you can see yourself becoming an even more effective and powerful presenter, then please, please, please have a look at the Presenting with Impact workshop, the 2-day workshop I'm going to be running in collaboration with Edge NLP. It's on the 28th and 29th of June. There are a few places left. We only work in really small groups so that you get as much time and energy as you deserve, okay? Get yourself into the stretch zone. Step outside the comfort zone. If this is something that scares you, grab hold of it and come on the course. So go to www.edgenlp.co.uk to find out more about the course. Go to my website, which is juliamontague.co.uk, or email me, Facebook me, call me, whatever you want to do. Let's have a chat and let me tell you more about how the 2 days are going to run. Thank you for joining me. I will be back speaking to you in a few days. What day is it? Thursday, Sunday evening, I will be back talking to you. So thanks for joining me. I really hope you've got something from this, even if it's a few snippets of information that you can take away with you and use, because everything's transferable. And Rhiannon's just joined me. I'm fine with presenting TV and radio. It's when I have to speak to people I get nervous. Indeed. And do you know what, Rhiannon? You're not alone. So play back my video, email me, come along to the course, and thank you for joining me. Take care.